Good afternoon. Yesterday in the last class, we have taken into account the types of breach of contract. Breach of contract is of two types: actual breach and anticipatory breach. Actual breach is okay at the time when the performance is due or during the performance of the contract. Okay, so yesterday we have finished this thing. Okay, express repudiation and implied repudiation we have finished. Now we are going for anticipatory breach of contract. Anticipatory or constructive breach of contract. Anticipatory breach of contract takes place when one party of a contract informs the other party that he or she will not be performing his or his promise. Her promise. You see, when you come across the contract, you will come across two parties. So in this two parties, one party it will inform the other party that he is not interested and he is not going to perform his promise. That is his obligations. So that is nothing but anticipatory breach of contract. The intention of not performing the promise is declared prior the due date. That is, he will intimate that before the due date only, before the actual performance takes place, before that only he will intimate that he is not interested in performing his obligations. That is the thing. Refusal to perform the promise might be either by it might be either through express repudiation or implied repudiation. Like how you come across in actual breach of contract. Here also you will come across express repudiation and implied repudiation. Express repudiation by words spoken or written. By words spoken or written, okay, you will intimate that you are not at all interested and you will refuse. You are going to refuse the performance of the contract. In the same way, here also we will come across express repudiation as well as implied repudiation. Express repudiation means by words spoken or written, you will inform that you are not at all interested in performing your obligations. Okay, before the due date. Mind it. Okay, it will be before the due date only. Express repudiation. Under this, a party of a contract expresses his or her intention of not performing the contract either by words or by action before the due date. This is nothing but the express repudiation. Now, implied repudiation. Without speaking anything, without speaking, without oral, this thing. Okay, if you take that, okay, it is nothing but implied repudiation. Okay, for express repudiation, the example is P promises Q that he will supply 20 bags of rice to Q on 21st May 2014. Prior to this date, prior to this due date, that is on 18th May 2014, P informs Q that he won't be able to supply 20 bags of rice to him. Here there is an anticipatory breach of contract by express repudiation. This is the example for express repudiation. Now, implied repudiation. A party of a contract carries out some actions which makes the performance of a contract impossible. He will do some actions. Thereby, what will happen is the performance of the contract or performance of the obligation it will becomes okay impossible. So when it becomes impossible, automatically it is said to be an anticipatory breach of contract. Example: A promises B that he will sell his house to B. A promises B that he will sell his house to B at 24 lakhs on 20th May 2014. But before this date, A sold his house to C, a third party. The action of A made the performance of a contract impossible. This is an anticipatory breach of contract by implied repudiation. Section 39 of the Indian Contract Act is concerned with doctrine of anticipatory breach. Okay, Section 39 of the Indian Contract Act is concerned with the doctrine of, okay, anticipatory breach. This is how you will come across about the anticipatory breach by express repudiation, I mean implied repudiation. Now, remedies. What are the remedies available for breach of a contract? Remedies means, okay, purifications that we come across. Remedy. When you come across any injury, you have to look after the remedy of that, but you should not suffer with that. Okay, so that is nothing but the remedy or purification for a breach of a contract, for breakdown of a contract. Generally, generally speaking, the remedies, they will be in the form of damages or extension of the contract. Okay, in the place of the old contract, we have to give a new contract. All like this, you'll come across the remedies. And what are the remedies that we come across? Every contract has some rights and obligations. A right does not have any worth if there is no remedy to enforce that right in a law, right in a law court at the time of its infringement or breach of contract. So there should be remedium. There should be purification. Remedy means in the sense purification. So when there is a breakdown of a contract, okay, one party he will lose and one party he will gain. So what is the remedy? What is the purification that you are going to give for the injured party? That is more important. So that is, okay, taking into account the remedy for breach of a contract. Remedy is given by law through which right can be enforced. I'm sorry. Okay. So where is this and where is the right? From whom it will come? If it comes from the party, okay, well and good. But generally speaking, when you take into account the remedy for a breach of a contract, it will be given by the court of law. The court of law, it will give the remedy for that. So rescission of the contract. What is this rescission of the contract? If one party breaks the contract, then the other party can sue for considering the contract as cancelled and rejecting to perform further. Okay, rescission means rejecting. When you come across, if that's what he is telling, if one party breaks the contract, then the other party can sue for considering the contract as cancelled, completely cancelled, and rejecting to perform further. In this situation, he becomes aware of all the obligations under the contract. For example, X promises to sell his car to Z, and Z agrees to make payment on delivery of car. But if X does not deliver the car, then Z's discharging from the Z, I mean, deliver the car, then Z is discharged from his payment, from liability to pay the price. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Okay. Ration is granted by the court when plaintiff considers the contract as voidable. Plaintiff, that is the other party, when he considers this thing as voidable contract. Okay. Or contract is unlawful as the causes are not clear and the defendants is blamed more than plaintiff. Okay. The second thing is contract is unlawful as the causes are not clear. That is, there should be the clear cut cause. When you are breaking a contract means there should be a clear cut cause why you are breaking the contract. For what purpose you are breaking the contract? There should be a clear cut explanation and clear cut cause for that. If there is no clear cut cause for that, then You will come across rescission of a contract. Rescission of a contract. Okay. Section 27 of the Specific Relief Act 1963 outlines the situations in which the court may not cancel the contract. See, the court it will not cancel the contract in these following cases. When the contract is either expressly or impliedly approved by the plaintiff, expressly or impliedly approved by the plaintiff, the other party, when the parties cannot occupy their original positions due to the changing conditions. Okay, whenever you are making a contract, the condition over there it will be different. Okay, it will be different from that of other conditions. When you are coming like this, automatically you have to take into account those things. When the parties cannot occupy their original positions, that is, offerer and offeree, plaintiff and defendant, all these things, when they won't occupy that, then automatically the contract it is nothing but one cause for the rescission. Okay, when the third parties have acquired rights in good faith and for value while maintaining the contract, or you see, A and B, A and B, they are entering into a contract. A has to perform his obligations and B has to perform his obligations. Suppose if a new party, if a third party by name C, if he enters in good faith, okay, in good faith, automatically it is nothing but a cause for rescission of a contract. That's what he is telling. When the third party have acquired rights in good faith and for value, okay, there should be value, while maintaining the contract, or when the parties agree to cancel only a part of the contract, but that part cannot be separated from the rest of the contract. Suppose, say for example, X and Y they enter into a contract, and after passage of some time, they want to cancel a part of it. When they want to cancel a part of it, don't be of that opinion that the whole contract will come to an end. Okay, whatever it may be, the part of that contract what they want to remove, what they want to remove, it may affect the main contract, it may affect the remaining contract. So in that case, it is one of the cause for rescission of a contract. This is how you'll come across. Next, second one is suit for damages. When one person, when he cancels the contract, then what will happen? One party to the contract he will suffer a lot, and one party he will gain. He will be in gain. Then the party who is injured, where it is who is suffering from loss, he has to get some benefit. From whom? From the person who gets advantage. So shoot for damages is also very very important when we go for this. Damages are referred to monetary compensation allowed to injured party as a remedy for breach of contract. The purpose of providing damage is to put the injured party in the same position as he or she was before the occurrence of the loss. Now, why we have to go for damages? What for? See, we have to go for damages because one party will be injured and another party will be in gain. So the party who is getting loss, he must be kept in good condition. He must be kept in good position. Okay, before the breach of the contract he had taken it takes place. What is the benefit that the other party is going to get Okay, he has to get some benefit before the rescission takes place or before the breach of contract takes place. Now, suit upon quantum merit. Quantum merit means, okay, let the buyer beware. Let, yeah, caveat. Okay, quantum meritum. The meaning of the term quantum meritum is as much as earned, not caveat emptor. It is quantum meritum, as much as earned. How much benefit I can able to get, that thing they will take into account. Okay, that much benefit, the person who broke down the contract, he has to pay to the injured party. An obligation to sue on a quantum merit occurs when a contract is performed by one party to some extent and becomes discharged by the breach of the contract of the other party. Okay, when two persons are there, first person and second person. The first person, what he had done is he had completed his obligation to certain extent, and automatically there is a breach of contract. So up to that extent, whatever he committed, whatever he had done, okay. So after, if it completes, okay, well and good. If the contract, if it is not broke down and if it is completely, okay, then both the parties they are going to get something benefit. But here, what is happening is, in the middle, when one party when is completed his obligation, but afterwards when there is a discharge, automatically what will happen is one person will be in a safe side and one person will be in a loss. So the person who is in loss, he must be compensated, and this compensation it will be by monetary money. Okay, so this is the thing that we have to take into account. Thus, the party is sued for original contract that has discharged, but for implied promise made by the other party to pay in the event of breach. Okay, so before entering into a contract, we have to take into account all these things. Before entering into a contract, we have to suppose by any chance, if there is a breakdown of contract, you have to pay me. The injured party will be compensated. And with that, okay, if you agree, we can go and enter into a contract. Like that, before entering into a contract, you have to make that. So suppose if you won't do that, automatically you won't be benefited. Suit for specific performance of the contract. The next one is suit for specific performance of the contract. Okay, you will enter into a contract. People they will enter into a contract, but all of a sudden there is a breach of contract. But thing is, for a specific performance, you have to continue the contract, even though it is not okay. Even though you cannot do that, or even though you are not at all interested, but for specific purpose, for specific performance, you are obliged to do that. Damages are not always an appropriate remedy for the breach of contract. In such situations, the court may address the party in the breach to perform his promise based on the terms and conditions of the contract. It is a direction for specific performance of the contract, but the court inconvenience of the party which is not in the breach. Okay, here the court will do this. Okay, the contract was broken. Okay, instead of going for damages, the court it specifies that you have to perform the obligation according to the terms and conditions, that whatever you come across, even though you are not at all interested, it must be done. It must be done. So like that, the court of law it will see, okay, and it will make the performance completed even though there is a breach of contract. Suit per specific performance of the contract. The following are the situations wherein the specific performance of a contract can be enforced in the responsibility of the court. The responsibility of the court. Now, when non-performance of fact cannot be compensated in money, as it is a inadequate relief. Okay, whatever it may be, the non-performance. When you cannot measure that in monetary terms, then compulsory the court will specify that it should be completed. The specific performance must be completed. Second one, when actual damages for non-performance act cannot be determined, when you cannot able to determine the damages, then also you have to go for specific performance. When it is not possible to get the compensation in terms of money for the non-performance of act, okay, when you cannot able to get the money for the non-performance, then also you have to go for this. So in these cases, you'll come across the specific performance of a contract, okay, enforced by the court of law as its responsibility. The following are the cases wherein specific performance will not be provided, okay, where you won't come across this specific performance. Okay, tomorrow we'll continue this.